My favorite name for Jesus is Emmanuel, God with us. Think of it. God focused his majesty and love, whose breadth and depth we could not comprehend, into the warm, living body of a person in Jesus. Humanity needed to be able to see and touch Jesus, to hear his voice, to receive a hug, to be gazed at longingly. God showed us how sacred our bodies are when God embodied himself. Jesus showed us what love looks like by washing the feet of the disciples. In her devotion, God Went to Beauty School, author Cynthia Rylant writes, God went to beauty school. He went there to learn how to give a good perm and ended up just crazy about nails. So he opened his own shop. Nails by Jim, he called it. He was afraid that if he called it Nails by God, he was sure people would think he was being disrespectful and using his own name in vain. And nobody would tip. He got into nails, of course, because he'd always loved hands. Hands were some of the best things he'd ever done. And this way, he could just hold one in his and admire the delicate bones just above the knuckles, delicate as birds' wings. And after he'd done that a while, he could paint all the nails any color he wanted and then say, beautiful, and mean it. God gave us beautiful bodies in all their many shapes, sizes, colors, and configurations, and finds each of us beautiful. God created us as beings of light-filled spirit and a tangible, touchable physical form. One simply cannot separate the one from the other. Over 10 years ago, our congregation embarked on a mission to bring the Our Whole Lives ministry to our junior and senior high youth. This 35-year ministry is a collaboration between the United Church of Christ and the Unitarian Universalist Association and has been present since the 1990s. I firmly believe it is one of the most important ministries of our congregation. It is life-giving and life-affirming. It has 4 foundational values. Self-worth. People are entitled to dignity and self-worth and to their own attitudes and beliefs. Health. Age-appropriate knowledge about our bodies and relationships is helpful, not harmful. And that access to accurate information fosters respectful and positive ways of expressing our feelings. Responsibility. We are called to enrich our lives in ways that enhance human wholeness and fulfillment, and that express love, commitment, delight, and pleasure, while also having the right and obligation to make responsible choices. And finally, justice and inclusivity. People of all ages, identities, races, ethnicities, genders, backgrounds, income, mental abilities, orientations, they all have equal rights and value. And that there is a wide range of experiences that are natural, and that no relationship should ever be coercive or exploitative. Through the years, dozens of staff and volunteers have gone through an intensive 3-day training in order to become certified to teach Our Whole Lives. And over the years, over 100 of our youth have gone through this ministry. They've received accurate information, they've role-played about healthy relationship skills, and they've used resources from their peers, their family, their adult mentors, their community, to find and define their own values, to respect themselves and others, and to welcome and support the diversity of God's children. Our Whole Lives. Our Whole Lives' most recent retreat was in February 2020, just 2 weeks before the world shut down due to COVID. During the pandemic, we experienced how the absence of the presence of other people and their touch could so negatively impact our emotional and physical health. It will be 4 years in February since we had our last Our Whole Lives retreat. We're now at the point where we can return and renew this ministry. But in order to do so, we need the involvement of the whole congregation. We need participants to attend. We need parents to support. We need chaperones. We need people who have really good organizational skills, and maybe even folks who could order a few pizzas. As you leave worship today, there are informational handouts in a basket about the Our Whole Lives ministry that you can take home and read and share with folks outside the congregation. God came down to us. Jesus felt the softness of Mary's skin as he nursed, and the calluses of Joseph's hands as he held them. Remember, our bodies were created not for shame, fear, or guilt, but for communion, connection, and love. Most importantly, as we try to be the hands and feet of Jesus each day, remember the healing of touch in a weary world, the power of your presence, and that God is with us. And at this time, I would like to invite all of the children upstairs for church school.